Welcome back to another episode of the Bear Trap, a Bears podcast by a Bears fan. I'm your host, Terry, and today going over our first pick of the 2019 NFL Draft. In the third round, that is David Montgomery, running back out of Iowa State. So, overall, this draft I just was not tapped into, mostly because I am super busy in school now. Not like I was in previous years. But then on top of that, I really think the Bears not having like a top 10 pick like last year, I didn't have to be as dialed in, but overall I just didn't have enough time. So anyway, I did thankfully get most of my thoughts on the positions out. And if you remember in the running back group, I said a guy that I really like and pointed out was David Montgomery. And running backs are dimes a dozen. So there's all that. There's plenty of good backs, but just something about the guy as far as his leadership and his effort. I think he's a try-hard running back that doesn't have amazing physical stats that's going to pop out at you. But again, he tries hard and he's really good at everything. I don't think he's great at any one thing, but I think he definitely is not a negative in the pass game. He's not a negative in the blocking game. He's definitely not a negative with his power, and he's not even a negative with his speed. I think he tops out on his speed pretty quickly, so he definitely won't be hitting any 90-yarders, but in this game, we rarely have that anyway. It's more about the explosion plays, as we call them, which is 20 yards or more. And so, ripping off 20-yard runs is perfectly fine. Now, I know a lot of people want comparisons and, with running backs, a little tough to do that. But I just think his physical play and his just work style is reminiscent of some of the guys that we had in the past, like a Thomas Jones, even a Jordan Howard, guys of those natures, where they really grinded and I would say tried to work at everything they can do on the field. I don't think his style is like that. Either of those. I think he's definitely a little more shifty than Jordan Howard, lower center of gravity, of course, but I think he's got just enough boom. And I think he's definitely better in the pass game than Jordan Howard was coming out. So, overall, he is a solid running back. It's the third round. It's not the first round. So it kind of is what it is. That doesn't mean he can't make an impact. It's just that his physical attributes and traits aren't going to be off the chart. Now, the thing that I talked about in my mock draft game, if you watch that, I took Isaiah Prince here, and he's still on the board. And the offensive line game has been crazy in this draft as far as the way it played out, where a lot of people going lower than we thought, a lot of people going way, way higher than we thought. Isaiah Prince kind of stays pat. I still stand by it. I think he's the third best tackle. And so I would have liked to have seen us get him there. But as I mentioned that in the third round, even in the fourth round, I was toying with the idea of getting a running back. That's definitely a position I thought the Bears should have went after. So I'm not mad at all at the position need, because for me, I just think it's too rich, especially when you got a Jordan Howard in the fourth round. And you see so many good running backs produce at the later rounds, and we don't have that many picks. I personally, while I wanted to go at a Bryce Love third or fourth round, or, whatever my top running back was, I just felt the need to address a different position because I knew that there'd be multiple options at running back later in the draft, and there's not going to be multiple options at other positions. So that's kind of where I went. But hey, if you're in love with the kid, you're in love with the player, and you think he works great with the locker room that you want to have, and he has the assets that's going to fit into what you want to do, perfectly fine. But the same thing I said when I drafted Dexter Williams is that Tariq Cohen continues to do what he does, but he cannot replace Jordan Howard. That's just a fact. And then bringing in a free agent running back whose name is escaping me right now, or is it not Miles Davis? Something like that. Not a realistic option. I think he's Benny Cunningham. He's a special teamer. He's an occasional back. We needed to get a spearhead. David Montgomery, again, one of my more favorite backs. I think that you just I don't say give him the starting spot, but I think you allow him to compete for that starting spot right away. Get him in as the 1-2 back, and then mix in Tariq Cohen as you do on first and second down. but then third down, you just had Cohen in. And so I definitely like the pick. I mean, as far as fans go, most casual football fans aren't going to care a lot about chemistry in locker room. But for me, I could definitely, as a coach, as a personal thing for me as a coach, I would definitely put locker room character up there as far as pushing me over the hill. Would I have went running back right here, regardless of Mike or David Montgomery? No, I wouldn't have. But if y'all pushed me and said, you know, what we could add to the character and locker room of the team, I could definitely get on board with that. So not mad at the pick at all. So we'll get to see what we do later. Like I said, O-line's kind of been crazy where a lot of the later round guys have already gone. So we'll see what we have left in the fourth round. But honestly, I think we got to target secondary, and a lot of safeties have went already. But I just got to see that we get some bodies in the secondary. That's really the only thing that I'm looking at for the rest of this draft. And then I'll see how else Ryan Pace chooses to fill it out. So anyway, that's it for me. Go down in the comment section. Let me know what you think about our first selection in David Montgomery, running back out of Iowa State. Share it around, get the conversation started. Thumbs up, subscribe, and remember, stay up and bear down.